Good morning, friends. Good morning. Let's begin with the topic in operating system. Today, I will discuss process, task, uh, process, and threads. Okay, in today's session, we'll discuss. Right. Uh, Types of operating systems we discussed, like general purpose and real-time operating system, and what's the difference between them. We learned in previous class. But in today's class, we'll discuss about task. What's the meaning of task? What is a process, and what is threads? Right. So we'll discuss all this. Yeah. Task, process, and threads. Very simple. The task. Whenever we say a task, do the task and complete the task. What is the meaning of task? Task is like a function, or it's a job, right? So with respect to operating system, a task is something that needs to be done, right? In the operating system context, a task is defined as the program in execution and the related information maintained by the operating system for the program. So this is collectively called as a task. That is any program that is to be executed by the operating system by providing some resources and that is called as task. And remember, we are in this particular module, we are going to discuss the same concepts what you study or what you have studied in operating system, right? One of your first semester subject, right? So I think this is the repeated version of it, but I will do my best to cover all the portion of the syllabus. Uh, a task is also known as job in the operating system context. Okay, it is also called as a job. A program or part of it is it in execution is also called a process. So here the process is what there is part of that particular job or the part of that particular task or the part of the program, right, is called as process. The term task, job, and process refer to the same entity in the operating system context, and most often they are used interchangeably. Andre, we can use a process in place of job, or task in place of job, or task in place of process, and also the meaning of the particular sentence. So let's begin with the process. So what is process? Process is a program or a part of it in execution, right? So if a program is executing with all available uh, uh, right resources and all, then we call it as the task, right? So here the process is what a part of that particular program which is being executed. Process is also known an instance as an instance of a program in execution. A process requires various system resources like CPU for executing the process, memory for storing code corresponding to the process, and associated variables, IO devices for information exchange, etc. So, what are the different resources that we need to provide, or the operating system has to provide to a process which is being executed? Okay, like CPU time itself, again the memory to store the data as well as code, again the IO devices for information exchange. Okay, so these are the resources expected by the process. Structure of a process. So how does a process uh, look like? Right. So it looks like, okay, like this. Observe here the process. Right. So process has got its own stack memory, its own data memory, its own code memory. Keep in mind. So the same diagram is given here. And coming to this, observe this particular part, the stack. Okay, it has got its own stack. To monitor that, we need, or the process needs the stack pointer, working registers, and the status registers, as well as the program counter. So program counter, we know that that is always used to point to the next instruction to be executed or fetched and executed. The code memory corresponding to the process, but he gives comparison between the processor and the process. They look same. Okay, the processor and the process. Okay, process in terms of software, remember, and the processor in terms of hardware. So he says a process mimics a processor in properties. Okay, the process mimics a processor in properties and holds a set of registers. Like it holds, or the process looks like a processor only. How does that look like a processor? By these means, like it holds a set of register. Observe, it holds a set of registers right here. Again, the processor status register, that is held by status register. Again, the program counter PC to point to the next executable instruction of the process. A stack for holding the local variables associated with the process and the code corresponding to the process. So that's what it is. It is said as a process mimics a processor. This is the reason. You may get quiz question or objective type question saying a process mimics a processor in a process mimics a processor. Okay, reason for that is they will give some options, right? So you need to choose like a correct one and give answer. So the answer is like this. So why it is, it holds a set of registers same as that of processor. It holds the program counter, it holds the process status, nothing but the flag register in the processor. Okay, so like that, we can say this can be visualized as shown in the diagram. So this is the diagram, how it looks like. Yes, a process which inherits all the properties of the CPU. When the process gets its turn, its registers and program counter register becomes mapped to the physical register of the CPU. So that's what it is said. The process mimics the processor, nothing but the CPU, right? So there are a number of processors available in the operating system are executing in are concurrently getting executed. When a process gets its turn, so again the process has got its own set of registers. For example, general purpose registers to hold the variables and all. Again, the stack pointer to monitor the stack memory and all. Again, the program counter. So here, the physical, the actual registers are mapped into the registers associated with the processor. Sorry, with the process. So that's what we say a process mimics processor ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ? ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು. When the process, any process, when a process gets its turn, its registers, program counter register becomes mapped to the physical register of the CPU, right? Yes. Next, the memory occupied by the process is segregated into three categories. Yes, so you can observe here. This is the memory. This is the memory, right? So this is all memory. So this is whole memory. Observe, right? The whole memory is divided into stack memory, data memory, and the code memory, right? So this is how it is segregated. Andre ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ, right? Yes. So the stack, data, and the code. Stack is used to hold the data temporarily, and the data used to hold the variables, and the code mainly consists of codes and all, right? On loading a process into the main memory, a specific area of memory is allocated for the process. The stack memory usually starts at the highest memory address from the memory area allocated for the process. It's very simple. We know that stack, it says here you can observe the stack memory grows downwards, and it always grows in the decreasing order of the address, and the data memory always in the upward direction, the increasing order of the address. So that's what he says. The stack pointer, when a process starts using the stack memory, it is always at the highest order of the address, right? So very simple. Process states and state transition. So here the very important point is the process life cycle. What is process life cycle? Andre process ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ start ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು end ಆಗೋ ತನಕ ಅದೇನ್ cycle ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, that is called as the process life cycle. The cycle through which a process changes its states from newly created to the execution completed, known as the process life cycle. So this is a typical process life cycle you can observe. We can also call this as a state transition diagram of a processor, sorry, a process. The transition of a process from one state to another state is called as the state transition. So initially, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 states. The first state is what? Created. So before we execute any task, okay, the process or processes corresponding to that particular task, nothing but the programs are created, right? So that is a very first state we can say. It is called as incepted into memory, that is involved into the memory. Next, coming to the ready. So when that particular process is about to execute or when it is ready to execute, okay, that particular state is called as ready. Remember, only after this particular state, Andra, when the process is ready, then the resources are allocated by the operating system. So ready here, scheduled for execution, and here the interrupted or preempted. So these are the two transitions here. So ready, when it is ready to execute the instructions, then it reaches or it takes transition to the running state. So in the running state, it will execute the codes written for that particular process or the task, we can say, till an interrupt occurs from the IO devices or an interrupt occurs from other processors or other tasks which are higher priority. So why do interrupts occur here? Because some other processors which are having higher priority need need of the IO resources or in need of the CPU resources. So that's what the acknowledgement, sorry, the interrupt will occur. When an interrupt occurs and it suddenly stops executing the instructions, then it reaches another state called as blocked state. So blocked state, what? It is not currently executing any instruction. So when the interrupts are served, then again it will move to the next state, ready state. Ready state, you can observe here, interrupted for preempted. So again it will take transition from running to the ready. Why? Because it is blocked, right? So when that particular interrupt service routine is executed, again it will start executing the programs, right? So it will keep on repeating the execution of codes or the program, right? And when it completes, we say the execution is complete, the state called as completed state. So this is how the state transition or the process life cycle of process life cycle looks like, right? Yes. So it is given, just go through that. Next, coming to the threads. What are threads here, right? So what's the difference between threads and process, right? Yes. So let's discuss. A thread is the primitive that can execute the code. So here the word primitive is very, very important, right? Here the word primitive is very, very important. So why it is called as primitive? Why it is called as primitive, right? So observe. So before we start the execution of the process, right? So I need to start the process. That's what it is called as primitive that can execute code on the primitive, right? So that is primitive. The dictionary meaning of primitive is like that is anything that may lead into evolution, right? So the same way here, the primitive that can execute code, nothing but it is starting the execution of the process, right? Yes. A thread is a single sequential flow of control within a process. A thread is also known as a lightweight process because the process consists minimum one thread, nothing but there are a number of threads. So that's what it is called as a lightweight process. A process can have many threads for execution, certainly. Different threads which are part of a process share the same address space. Yes. Meaning they share the same data memory, code memory, and the heap memory area. What is heap memory area? It's a random access of the memory, right? So threads maintain their own thread status like CPU register values and the program counter and stack. The memory model for a process and its associated threads are given in the following figure. Look at the figure here, right? So here stack memory for thread 1, stack memory for thread 2, in the same way the data memory for process and the code memory of the process. Observe here, it is very very important. Different threads which are part of a process share the same address space. They share the same address space, meaning they share the data memory, code memory, and heap memory area. Right? Threads maintain their own thread status, CPU register values, program counter, and stack. Right? So these are very important points. You can observe here how a process is divided into number of threads. The concept of multi-threading, nothing but very simple. A process is divided into number of threads and they execute in sequential manner. Okay, sometimes it is concurrent only, right? The concept of multi-threading, the process is split into multiple threads which executes a portion of the process. There will be a main thread and rest of the threads will be created within the main thread. Yes. So main thread, first main thread create ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ main thread ಇಂದ ಉಳಿದಿರೋ sub threads ಎಲ್ಲ create ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. The multi-thread architecture of a process can be visualized with the thread process diagram as shown in the this is thread process diagram. Observe here, task bar process, both are same. So here the code memory, data memory, and here the we know that they share the stack, code, and the data memory. So this is how threads are generated. Thread 1 has got its own registers as well as stack. Thread 2 has got its own registers and stack. Thread 3 has got its own stack and the registers. Okay, these are the different programs. Right? Use of multiple threads to execute a process brings the following advantage. Better memory utilization. Right. So what are the advantages? Use of multiple threads to execute a process brings the following. Right. Multiple thread use ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನೇನು ಲಾಭಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, first one is better memory utilization. How does it improve the memory utilization? Multiple threads of the same process share the address space for data memory. This also reduces the complexity of inter-thread communication since variables can be shared across the threads. Next one, since the process is split into different threads, when one thread enters a wait state, the CPU can be utilized by other threads of the process that do not require the event which the other thread is waiting for processing. This speeds up the execution of the process. Next one, efficient CPU utilization. The CPU is engaged all the time, right? So since multiple threads are there, so all threads will make use of the CPU time, right? Without leaving the CPU idle. Okay, so this is the advantage. Next, thread standards. So these are the different thread standards. POSIX threads ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆನಂತರ Win32 threads and the Java threads. So Win32, like you are very well aware with the Win32. So whenever you go to C program and the program files, if you click on that, you will see a folder called as the Win32 that consists of the Win. That consists of multi threads. So this is application program interface libraries provide the standard set of Win32 thread creation and management functions. Again, Java threads. Java threads are the threads approved by the Java programming languages, right? So these are the different threads. Okay. In C, POSIX. So these are very simple. Just go to that. Thread preemption, right? So it is the act of preempting the currently running thread. It is independent of the operating system. So thread preempting nothing but if we got to know that the thread is not following the instruction or thread is not giving out the result what we expect, then it can be terminated or it can be stopped. That is called as the thread preemption, right? Is the act of preempting the currently running thread. It is independent on the operating system. It is performed from sharing the CPU time along all the threads. The execution switching among threads are known as the thread context switching. Threads fall into one of the following types: user level thread, right? So where User level threads do not have kernel or the operating system support, and they exist only in the running process. Uh, a process may have multiple user level threads, but the operating system uh, threads it as a single operating system treats it as single thread and will not switch the execution among the different threads of it. It is the responsibility of the process to schedule each thread as end as when required. So just observe there are many ways of binding user, many to one model, again one to one model, and many to many model, right? So some simple concept, just go through that. Again, the difference between thread versus the process. So what's the difference between them? Uh, what are the differences? Uh, Thread is a single unit of execution and is part of the process. Process is a program in execution and contains one or more threads. So very simple. Um, so thread is part of process, right? And process consists minimum one thread. A thread doesn't have its own data memory and heap memory, but it shares. We can justify this. A thread doesn't have its own data memory and heap memory, but it can share with the process because process will share the data code and the stack with the CPU. Right? We know that process has its own code memory, data memory, and the stack memory. Right? So these code, data, and stack memories are used by the thread. A thread cannot live independently, it lives within the process. Yes, so separately we cannot execute the thread. It has to be a part of process. A process contains at least one thread. There can be multiple threads in a process. The first, called as the main thread, uh, calls the main function and occupies the start of the stack memory of the process. So remember, so always the very first thread that is made as main thread will use or will occupy the stack memory whenever a process begins. Threads within a process share the code, data, and heap memory, which each thread holds a separate memory area for stack. Uh, threads are uh, very very inexpensive to create, but process are very expensive. Context switching is inexpensive and fast. Here the context switching is complex and involves. What's the meaning of context switching? Nothing but transferring of resources from one process to another process, right? But here the context switching is inexpensive and fast. Why it is? Because it happens within the same memory. But yeah, but the context switching is complex. Why it is complex in case of process? Because CPU will allocate uh, different process different memory locations for different processes. That's what it is. The context switching is bit difficult or complex in the process. If a thread expires, its stack is reclaimed by the process. If a process dies, the resource allocated to it are reclaimed by the operating system, and all associated threads of the process also dies. Okay. So you can expect question on this like right difference between thread and process, right? So just go through that. Okay, that's it for today. uh, you'll be having your second internal very soon. Be prepared, right? So all the best. Thank you.